We are live. Hello, everyone. I'm Jeanette Lenoir with E Pluribus America, and I have my fabulous guest, my friend, we both went to the same college together. My friend and buddy, AJ O'Hagan. Thank you so much, AJ, for joining us. He's also the sports information director for Yeshiva University. And so I'm just very excited to have you on the show today, AJ.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. It's great to be on. Thank you so much for having me. And I love the Syracuse University, Utica College diploma in the background. That's awesome. Go Pioneers.
That's right. That's right. That's right. We were both there. It's such an honor to have this degree. I'm really excited. I'm going to go ahead and also add Ron Carter of the Carter Agency. He is also the treasurer for NABJ in LA. Hey, Ron. I know you're having some technical difficulties there, but can you hear us? There you are. Hey, Ron. Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you so much for joining us, Ron. We are very excited to have you. We're going to
get right. Good morning.
How's it going, Ron?
Ron is joining us all the way from LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm in DC and AJ is in New York. So we've got, the trifecta of some of the best cities in the world right here representing. So I'm very excited about that.
Oh, wow. You got from north to south, huh?
That's right. We've covered the country almost. I look forward to having some other folks from different parts of the country. And later on, my other guest is from Sierra Leone in West Africa. So I'm very excited to speak with her next. Ron is having some minor difficulties with technology, but he'll be working that out, and we'll bring him to you. But AJ, let's go right into it. I want to go ahead and play the video here. But before I do that, tell us a little bit about yourself, AJ. I know that you are the sports information director at Yeshiva University, and you do a lot with sports. You're an activist, and especially for autism awareness, which I'm really proud of. You and I have done a story about that some years ago. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you do and the activism on autism awareness and what you want people to know.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. And I am on the autism spectrum myself. My younger brother, Nikki, and my goddaughter and niece, Natalie, they're also on the autism spectrum. And basically it helped me learn so much about autism, not just for myself, but seeing them every day. And it really showed me how awesome autistic people really are. And I advocate when I was at Utica College. We formed the Autism Awareness Club, and with a bunch of my friends, it was a student organization. We did lectures about autism, autistic people. We did fundraising events. We held movie nights, autism related, where money went to the the Kelberman Center in Utica, and we really and we also participated in the Walk for Autism, not just at the Kelberman Center, but my senior year we did one at Utica. I served as the president for the first 2 years, and then my friend Victoria Cruz Griffith served as the president during my senior year, and she thought of the idea to have a Walk for Autism on the Utica College campus, and it worked out really good, and it was a great turnout, and we really made a difference at Utica, and that's something I'll always be proud of, and it meant a lot. And to this day, we still advocate for autism awareness. My friend and Allison Hoke, who's also in the profession. She works in the sports information office at Sacred Heart University. We formed, she's also on the autism spectrum, and we are co-captains of Team Autism Awareness and Acceptance. It's a virtual fitness group. We compete against other teams in virtual fitness challenge, and we also compete in person at the Co-Sider Convention, which is a convention where all sports information directors from throughout the country go. We do a 5K every year at the site, and we always represent with Team Autism Awareness and Acceptance.
I'm so proud to know you not just because of your activism, but because you're such a sports enthusiast. I love that you love sports. You're also an active runner yourself. I look forward to running with you one day when I get back in shape.
I'll
You
look
know,
forward to that too.
yeah, I look forward to that too. So I'm just really excited to call you my friend and to have you as my guest on E Pluribus America live stream. So let's get right into it, AJ, because we're really going to need your expertise on what's happening in the NFL. Obviously, as you know, we had a serious. Damar Hamlin had a serious hit that caused him to go into cardiac arrest. Of course, that created some conflict. Let's listen to this real quick. Let's get this going. Let's play this video. All right.
And watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game, I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So they struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagreed with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead. Let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back, Skip.
Well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up.
No, I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to be to a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No.
Because we do this every freaking time something happened on this field. Everybody want to pivot and act like I done heard people talking about, just the mental health of the players. And yeah, you can die. They don't even know they can die out here. We sit here and talk about this stuff every single time. Schedule remakes. How are we going to make it up? What the league feels about it? I don't give a damn what the league feels about it. Let's keep it real. Why we don't talk about this stuff that matters? This young man, you want to know how what this you need to know about him? He's 24 years old, right? He got a contract for $160,000. That's his bonus. And he earns $825,000 this year. You say, G. Bush, why are you talking about this man's money? Because guess what? He's been in the league 2 years. That means he's not vested. That means if he never plays another down in his life, he don't get another check for the NFL. Let's be clear about this. You got to play 3 to 4 years before you even sniff a pension. So all this heartwarming and prayers and condolences don't do nothing for that boy's mom that got to go home, look at her son, and he might need extensive care for the rest of his life.
So, as you can see, he said a lot there, AJ. What are your thoughts? Well, let's start with what Shannon Sharp said to Skip Bayless. What are your thoughts on that disagreement there?
I thought, when Skip Bayless made that tweet, I defended it just a little bit because I could tell, he just worded it wrong. When he said, about, the result of the NFL being irrelevant, what he was trying to say was that, it's very serious, the injuries happening, but how's the NFL going to fix it with it being such a big game? I could understand that part because, it is something that the NFL would have to figure out soon, but at the same time, that's not something you should be tweeting right now, because right now, the life of the player is more important, because we really, a lot of people thought he was going to die. It was very scary, and it was very scary watching him on the field. That's not something you should have even tweeted right now, just because, we're not thinking about, obviously that's something that the NFL is going to have to figure out, but they don't really have time to figure that out right now because we got to make sure, we got to hope that this guy's okay. It's going to pull through, especially seconds after suffering a life-altering injury. Like, he should have just said afterwards, like, "Hey, I tweeted wrong. In fact, I shouldn't have tweeted that at all. I'm sorry." And he shouldn't have interrupted Shannon Sharpe, because Shannon Sharpe probably knows better than anybody, like, being a football player himself, not just because he's a successful multi-time Super Bowl champion player, just because he was a player in general. He knows, like, what it's like being on the football field. And his brother, like, he said, I believe his brother got paralyzed, so that's something that hits home for him. So obviously, I respect that you shouldn't have interrupted Shannon Sharpe like that. You gotta take his advice, especially someone who has played in the game and who obviously saw his brother get paralyzed. So that's something that Skip, like, really needed to, like, keep his mouth shut, like, in that situation. And it's one thing to make a poorly worded tweet, and to me, like, that's something that can be forgivable, but, like, don't dig yourself deep into a hole. Like, you just gotta do the right thing and say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have tweeted that. I need to get educated more," and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I was on the same side. I didn't think he should have tweeted at all. I thought it was very inhumane. I thought that just it seemed like he didn't even care that somebody was down. And at the end of the day, these are real human beings playing a game that feeds them. It feeds them. So it's just disappointing that it showed a side of the game that is real, which is the players are seen as a means to an end, and that end is lots of money for the owners, and that they ultimately don't really care. Because what the other gentleman was talking about was the reality about the NFL players who do get hurt and how the league handles them. What are your thoughts on his point where he says the league really does not support NFL players adequately as they should? What are your thoughts on that? Hey, Mama D, how are you, Mama D? I'll have you join in just 1 second, okay? Thank you. I thought you were Ron Carter.
I'm here, Jeanette. Did you see me?
All right. Yeah. Now you're on.
Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I don't know what's happening. I can't get on my laptop. I can't get on. I can't get on stream line. I don't know what's happening. It's kicking me off the show every 2 minutes. So
no worries. Well,
my cell phone will be cool.
Well, I'm not sure if you saw the video or not. What are your thoughts on the Damar Hamlin and how Skip Bayless reacted to it?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the video. I'm now going to go search for it on ESPN because I wanted to see the whole thing. It was a great introduction. I heard one of the gentlemen speaking, and he shared my sentiments. I don't know if you saw me, my head was bopping, because I believe that football is a dangerous sport. And I tell all my friends who have young men who are of the age of playing football, who would listen, take your kids out of football. Football is a game that is going to end up, by the time these young men at the age of 40, they're done. Number one, their careers is 3 years in the NFL. If they're lucky, they're able to play 10. But by the time they finish playing, they have gimpy legs, headache all the time, aches and pains all the time before they're age 35 years old. All of that for what? To make money for these billionaires who own the NFL. I used to be an ardent NFL fan. My life on a Sundays used to revolve around football, watching football. And about 8 years ago, I saw a program that really made me sick. You had these men who were 40 and 50 years old who didn't know where they were. Some of them said they couldn't climb the stairs. Their wives were sitting next to them and had to lead them around. And at that point, I made a conscious effort that I was not going to be contributing to watching football every Sunday. I'm not saying I don't watch football. I do. But I certainly do think that Skip Bayless was just expressing something that the NFL owners feel. these guys all know. If you listen to every last one of them, they will tell you they will play football again with all of the danger that it entails. But those of us who watch it, we want to feel like, oh, it's okay to watch this game whereby these young men put their lives in danger every time they step on the field. It's like boxing. The objective of your opponent is to knock you senseless, to literally stop you from moving. And I'm not saying that's what it is in football, but that happens a lot. And I don't know why everybody's surprised. I'm not surprised that this happened. I'm sorry that this happened to this young man, Damar Hamlin. I'm so sorry it happened to him. But it was only a matter of time before we saw something like this on football. Are we going to see it again? This has happened before. Happened before you, all of us on this call, on this show, were alive. In the 1940s, a man was killed on a football field, and that didn't stop football from being played. So, you know, I'm not in agreement with what Skip Bayless said. I think that he was insensitive, but I understand what he's saying. This is how the owners felt. It took them over an hour to stop the game. But once that guy was hit and he fell out, once Hamlin had a cardiac arrest, they did not show you that video again. They made a decision on that like this, in lickety-split, but they couldn't make a decision for over an hour on stopping the game because it was too much money. Football, Monday Night Football, is the #1 viewed sport on television all week. The #1 viewed sport. So there's no way they were going to make a decision, let's stop it right now. All this money we're going to lose. No. So, you know, I think Skip Bayless is way off base, but I think that people got to make their own decisions with their kids and stop putting your kids into football. And if you put a kid into football, just know, and then I'm going to shut up because, you know, I have a very strong feeling against young people playing football because this is just for instant gratification. And these kids are going to be damaged after the age of 30. And yes, the house and all that stuff that you bought your mom and yourself and all that, you're probably going to end up losing it if you don't find yourself something else to do.
You know, AJ, Ron just said something pretty important there. So what are your thoughts on, I mean, you're somebody you're an expert in this field. So what are your thoughts on what Ron said?
And
How do we balance?
I appreciate what you said about me being an expert, but I feel like I never played football. The most I ever played was like flag football and two-hand touch. So I feel like I can't really be an expert unless I actually played football with the helmets, tackling, hard hits, and stuff like that. And so I kind of feel guilty about that. But I try to like, so I actually don't know what a football player goes to. But I agree with Ron. Like it's very scary. Like when people are getting injured like this, and I think back to like a couple of years, like when I was in grad school at Manhattanville College, because I believe back then, and I think this might still be true, that rookies entering the NFL don't get guaranteed contracts. And one person said, "Hey, with all the injuries that happen to football, as opposed to the NBA, I mean, obviously injuries happen in the NBA too, but like I'm not as bad as football generally, but they should get guaranteed contracts just like the NBA because they get injured more." And then one person said, but that's actually the reason why they don't get guaranteed contracts from the owners and the league, because the owners would have to spend more money like every time an injury happens. So that's basically why that they don't get guaranteed contracts, because owners know that players get injured a lot. And that really made me think, I go, oh, wow, that's a good point. Like if you guys are getting what I mean here, like, so it's like, yeah, like NFL players. So basically, NFL players, especially rookies, don't get the guaranteed contracts entering the NFL because they should. But the real reason they don't is because owners would have to pay so much more money because injuries happen more often, and that's a very scary thing to think about. Like, so it really does say like, do like I really hope the league has to start like really caring more about the players and everything. And I mean, I'm not a financial expert, but they got to figure out some way to maybe help players. Like I know like when we saw the video about the person saying like, hey, like the NFL needs to like his like Hamlin's mom's probably gonna have to pay health care the rest of the way. Like if it's a lifelong injury, and the NFL wouldn't be paying them after that. So the NFL's got to do right by them. If he's not able to play, I mean, I doubt. Like we just gotta hope he pulls through 100%. Like I'm not even thinking about whether he's gonna like play again. Like I'm just hoping, like a lot of people, that he's gonna be able to make it. And yeah, like what's gonna happen? Like is the NFL gonna help the family financially? It's I really hope they do.
Yeah, I hope they do too, because they have to. These are lifelong injuries, and but do you think? I mean, there's got to be room with these owners have billions of dollars in their coffers, billions and billions of dollars in their coffers. How is there no room for them to make space for potential injuries? It almost seems like they're taking advantage of these players who are coming from, many of them come from, underprivileged homes. This is their way out, similar to how some people join the military as a way out of their circumstances. Sports and football especially seems to be a way out for a lot of young people out of their circumstances. So, AJ, as somebody who is a sports information director, how would you advise young people when it comes to getting into the sporting world with this in mind, knowing that they will be hurt and the owners who they're making lots of money for will not be taking care of them?
I would say parents, kids, like if you don't want to play a sport, like especially a dangerous one like football, like you could opt out. Like I guess and parents, like I feel like I know some, like we hear issues about parents forcing their kids into sports, whether it's trying to live success like through them, or trying to like have their kids be rich. I feel like you gotta do something that your kids are comfortable with. Like if they don't want to play sports, they don't want to play sports. That should be fine and dandy. Like I'm not saying like people shouldn't enter like football or basketball. They should if that's their choice. Because I think hopefully the NFL will like and that football in general will make improvements to the health and safety of the players. Like I know they're starting like by making like safer helmets and maybe adjusting the rules a little bit. So I think hopefully over time like football will somehow be made safer to play. But if someone doesn't want to play sports, like that's their right. Like their health and safety should come first. Because as Ron said, like does making so much money really matter when your health and safety is at risk? Yeah,
I agree. Ron, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, no, I agree with AJ. I do. I mean, does making all this money really matters? If you can't enjoy it after the age of 30, if you're walking with a gimp, your hip is not right. For running backs, you have constant headache if you're a defensive player. You can't go up and down the steps. You can't hold things. You can't feel. Paralysis sets in every now and then. Is it really worth it? Playing football for professionally for 5 or 10 years. I don't know. I think that people have to make those decisions, and it just really is, to me, it's not a good decision. I think that anybody who's got their kids in football should really also use the opportunity to get educated. So when they leave football, they can go become a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, a mechanic, a school teacher, whatever. But please don't do like some of these young men I see out here putting all their marbles in one basket. And then when they finish playing football, they become a bouncer at a nightclub, or, they're out here selling drugs, or, all the other things that happen to football players. And that's real. That's the real story no one is telling you about, because in football is a finite amount of members, and AJ know this, who are part of the team. But if you look at the amount of kids that actually enter into football, it's millions. It's millions. And you have about 1,000 or so that actually ever make it to the NFL. It's ridiculous. It's easier to become a doctor and a lawyer than to become an NFL football player.
you said a lot there. I have to mute you every time we speak because of the echo. But I wanted to say, even Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen, he decided to get back into the game, and his wife left him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because he promised. The word is, and I don't know this to be true, but the word on the street was that he promised her last year was going to be his last year. But when you play football and you play a sport and you play at a high level like Tom Brady, and it becomes sort of an addiction. And so he didn't live it. From what they're saying, he did not live up to his word. And she's like, "No, you promised me last year. That's it. I'm out." Yeah. I mean, they probably had other problems too. That's probably not the only thing, but that was one of the triggers too. The fact that he promised he wasn't going to play anymore, and here he is still trying to play, and potentially could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Hey. The way I saw it, I was like, I don't think someone should hold something like that over your head. Like, even though I get it, you still are your own person and you're going to make your own decision as a grown man, or a grown woman, either way. So whatever he decides, he has to live with. But the dangers are real. It's just, it's time to change the game. Would you not say so, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. The NFL has to make. I know it's I know it's easy to say this, but I don't know how specifically. But the NFL has to continue to make ways to make the game safer. Whether it's maybe improving the helmets even more and adjusting the rules, like no hard tackles. Like and they've made steps over the years, but it just needs to continue. And because obviously, I don't think football itself should go away. Obviously, I think football should still be played. I still think it's a great game, but obviously, we need to make sure that the players, obviously, the players' safety comes first. And I'll be the first to admit that later today, I will be watching football, but I'll admit that I'm gonna be a little nervous, seeing people get hit. I'm gonna be like, oh man, I hope the person's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be a little more paranoid about seeing players potentially get injured. It's gonna get me a little nervous. I'll still enjoy the games, but I'm just gonna keep that in mind even more, especially with what happened with Hamlin earlier this week. And but just gotta try to make it safer, and hopefully the NFL for Hamlin and any players that get injured going forward, and players that got injured in the past, I hope the NFL takes care of them financially.
Yeah,
gives them the support they need.
And there are also some dirty players. I mean, not too long ago, one of them wasn't he just, I don't know which player, but there was they said it was a dirty hit, and he was penalized with $10,000. Do you remember?
I forget which player it was in particular.
You remember?
Players get penalized almost every week for hitting. I don't know if it's incorrectly or just committing really bad acts. So, every week you're going to have that. But, football is a dangerous sport. And the players who play, they really buy into it. They buy into the fact that, hey, something bad can happen on a football field. And, so that's why I said it was only a matter of time before we see something like this, because the players understand it very well. And you talk to the players man to man, they will tell you, hey, I'll do this again because I love the game, and as AJ said, it's a great sport. It's a great sport to look at, but it's also a very dangerous sport. And I don't know how anyone feel about if you were going to work every day and you're liable to be hurt because of the activity that you're involved in, on your way to work, that you're more than likely you're going to get into a car crash every day. Listen, every single 45 seconds, there is a collision in football, just a violent collision. I mean, that's the name of the game.
Yeah. Well, thank you both. Ron, I'm keeping you on because we're about to talk politics. I know that, AJ, you're welcome to hang around if you want. We're about to get into some politics, but not before we discuss the controversy that is the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones just recently came out with their 200 greatest singers of all time. and Celine Dion didn't make the list. The Weeknd also didn't make the list. And so before we let you go, AJ, and move into politics with Ron, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the 200 greatest singers? And what are your top 3 favorite singers?
Yeah, I'm shocked. Celine Dion is a really good singer. I enjoy a lot of her songs, and same with the Weekenders. I remember they did that great skit at the Super Bowl, and yeah, I think that they're definitely on the rise, and they should have been in the 200 as well. For me, my top 3 singers, and this is just like my personal favorites, not who I objectively think should be in the top 3, but number 3, I like Billy Joel. I used to listen to a lot of songs, especially as a kid, and yeah, I really enjoyed his music. Number 2, I'm going to go with Madonna. I think her videos and her voice, it's an incredible combination. And number 1, gotta go with Michael Jackson. I mean, the guy was electrifying every time he stepped up onto the stage, and just his dancing, his songs, his videos, all 3 in 1, just incredible. And so he's definitely number 1 on my list.
Yeah, I agree with Michael Jackson. They have Beyonce, at I believe number 8 or something, and Michael Jackson is like number 86. It really took my breath away. It took my breath away. Ron, what do you think about that?
I think it's ridiculous. I look at this list and it's like, wow. I can't even don't get me started. Are you going to have a top 10 list and you have, some of these folks I see they have ahead of Marvin Gaye. They don't even list Nina Simone in the top 10. Come on now, Michael Jackson. You have Prince before Michael Jackson. I had the opportunity to work with both of them. And you're going to tell me that Prince was a better singer than Michael Jackson? Come on. I'm glad that this list was composed by Rolling Stone staff and some of the writers at Rolling Stone, and this is not no official list, because this list is so flawed. I can't begin to tell you, I don't believe in this. Some of the things they have in here is cool. Like, I'm glad to see they have Otis Redding up on a very high level, because he's another one of my favorite singers. But there is no way that some of these people are here because they can sing. A lot of it has to do with their popularity and basically, how much money they've made for the industry. Come on now.
And I must say that this is another good argument of having diversity in the room when these decisions are being made and when these lists are being put together. You have to have Black folks, Asians, Hispanics, whoever. You got to have, everybody has to play a role, because come on, this is American culture. American culture is all of us. It's not one group of people or, the majority. It is what makes America so uniquely America, and what makes our music great, our entertainment fantastic. All the things we do is because we all do it together, from where we come from, and so I think this is another argument for the value of having diverse newsrooms, diverse media staff, and diversity in all the spaces we inhabit. So thank you both. AJ, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. We won't take up more of your time. But I just want to thank you. And unless you want to join the conversation on politics, but I know you're all about your sports.
I am not good with political arguments. I'll step the hell out. Jeanette, thank you so much for having me. Ron, it was great to meet you and to talk with you. I really appreciate your viewpoints and your conversations. And yeah, thank you both so much.
That's right. And if you guys want to follow AJ, he's on Twitter at AJ O'Hagan 104. He is also the sports information director for Yeshiva University. So you want to know any stats, any information, anything about sports, reach out to AJ. And also, what I also really love about AJ is his activism. And he's a staunch supporter for autism awareness. So thank you so much, AJ, for all the things you do for all of us.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. And thank you so much for all you've done for me over the years. I really enjoyed going to school with you at Utica. And yeah, thank you so much for everything.
Of course. I'll see you later.
Take care, guys.
All right. Bye, AJ.
Bye.
Okay. So anyway, so Ron, let's get into it. So it took us 15 tries. It took Congress 15 tries. On the 15th, Kevin finally got his wish. I'm telling you, I have to admit, I was rooting against him. And I never thought I would find a day where I would actually agree with anything Matt Gaetz said. And you may disagree, and you know, I am a Democrat, but I did not think that Kevin McCarthy should become Speaker. What are your thoughts?
Well, you share my sentiment exactly, exactly. I mean, Kevin McCarthy has shown, and I hope that young people who are watching can take a lesson from sometimes what people do to get what they want, right? And I guess he's always had the ambition to be Speaker. And so he was not going to let anything get in the way of him being Speaker, including selling the country down the drain, which is basically what he did, because he had to make so many concessions to be able to get to that 216 votes that he finally got, because a lot of people decided that they were going to vote present instead of voting for him. So that lowered his threshold to become Speaker. And he, as they said, this guy don't have no ideology. He don't believe in anything. All he believe in is power. And so, strap on your seats, people. It's going to be a bumpy ride, because we're going to see the Republicans really run crazy, because you got guys and women who were part of the insurrection from the inside. They're now going to be calling the shots in Congress. They're not going to investigate themselves. So that investigation is going to go away. These guys are going to get away with planning to overthrow our government. And Kevin McCarthy, as the Speaker of the House, is not going to be able to do anything, because he promised them so much. He gave up so much to become Speaker that he's going to be useless. They basically are coming for him the same way they came for Newt Gingrich, the same way they came for John Boehner, the same way they came for Paul Ryan. They are coming for him also. So he's not going to last very long. If he lasts the rest of this year, I would say that he's had a long run, because the guy really doesn't believe in anything. And as you can see, there's a lot of people who are against him.
Yeah, it's shocking to me that he's just so desperate to be Speaker. I find it very dangerous, actually, that a man so desperate to be Speaker is the Speaker, that he, I think he sold his soul to the devil. And I just, this whole desperation for power, rather than, building bipartisanship, working across the aisle with other members. I mean, even looking at this country as we, the people, all of us are in this together. It isn't about Republicans and Democrats alone. We're all supposed to be moving this country forward together, but we seem to be so stuck. And what is so disappointing is that they're forcing this down our throat. And even within their own party, when you see, the likes of Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz standing up, people I would never agree with. I don't like anything they've done before, but the fact that they were brave enough to stand up against the powers that be, the normalcy of this nonsense. They all talk about, oh, let's drain the swamp. Oh, there's all this corruption. You can't just point to Republicans alone and say they're the problems, and you can't point to Democrats alone and say they're the problems. What's the point of having different parties, these two parties, if y'all can't work together? There is no point. And to force this down our throat as, no, it doesn't work, it hasn't worked. Look what happened, with the era of Trump. Look what happened, with January 6th. It doesn't matter. We're heading the same direction. We're not changing. No way. To me, it's the epitome of insanity. And in spite of this change that really needs to happen, they just refuse to allow change to happen, because both sides benefit from maintaining power every chance they get. It's not about the people and about getting things done, but it's about how do we keep this power? How do we be the ones to tell everybody what to do? How do we, you know what I mean, set the rules? They don't, you know, it really breaks my heart, and it exposes both sides for what they really are, which are they are just interested in power and being able to be. It was like high school. It was like high school watching these people in the house. They don't care about us.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said. You know, it was so disheartening looking at this and going like, boy, I tell you, we as the people, they really do a job on us, you know, both parties. And the Republicans really, they show themselves to be really a selfless set. They're shameless. They really don't care what they do and what they say. Look, they were getting ready to fight in the galley last night, you know, and some guys pulling another grown man away by covering his mouth and pulling him away because he was getting ready to, I guess, punch or curse Matt Gaetz out, which would have made it really, really difficult for Kevin to really win, because Matt Gaetz had decided that he was going to cave, you know, and just vote present, which basically bring the amount of votes down to win, you know. So these people, they don't care about us. They go there and all they do is think about themselves and the people who fund their campaigns, the lobbyists who work for them, that work for major corporations. And the little guy is the last thing on their mind. They all get up there and talk about the American people and the American people, but few of them are really working on behalf of the American people. Most of those people are working on behalf of the lobbyists who fund their campaigns so that they can stay there and get all of the largest that being a Congress or a Senate, a congressman or woman or a senator or give to them. So, you know, you can't put your faith in those people. I mean, I'm not saying don't vote. I'm not saying don't participate in the process, because I do. But, you know, you've got to realize that these people, you know, I mean, they're all for themselves. They all cut deals with each other. You know, as I was looking at what was taking place last night, I was reminded of, you know, looking and reading about what happened in the Roman Empire when they killed Caesar, how Caesar had no, you know, he had some idea that they were coming for him, but, you know, there were all these people behind him who were plotting, and all these groups that were plotting to take him out. And that's what's going to happen to Kevin McCarthy, because he basically made too many deals, you know, and a lot of the deals he made didn't protect his leadership. You know, he almost like gave away all of his power. You know, as one of my friends said, you know, he gave away not just the crown, but the jewel in the crown. You know, each crown has the jewel in it, and he gave away all of the jewels. So what use is the crown without the jewel? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, Jeanette. I'm just know that I have to be prepared for the next 2 years, because it's going to be crazy. These crazy people are thinking about shutting down the government, no more Social Security, changing the tax laws, you know, all kinds of craziness, you know, stuff that really doesn't help the little guy who has to get up every day, catch the bus, get on another bus just to get to work for $20 an hour. They're, you know, I mean, they're calling essential workers. How essential are they if you don't care about them? So anyway.
But it sounds good. As long as it sounds good, as long as they have their talking points correct, and as long as they've got the right speeches, it's all about performance. They just want to have a good show. Do we look good? Are we kneeling the right way? Do we've got the right African? You know what I mean? It's so disappointing and disheartening, and to see that both sides benefit from the fracturing of our country. Both sides benefit. You know, it's like, oh, if you're a Black person and if you don't vote Democrat, there's something wrong with you. You know, you see, you know, and even when they could have had a Black a first Black Speaker of the House, a Republican Black Speaker of the House in Byron Donalds. They could have had that. I'm not a Republican, but I certainly would have supported him, you know, because it shows a change and a progress. You know what I mean? Besides, he's not going to do it alone. He's got an entire Congress to help lead us in a direction. Why can't we have that change? Why do we have to call him? Why do we have to call him names? Why does Cori Bush have to, you know, why does she have to go in and call him names? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, are we all in this together? Isn't it the benefit for all of us? You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. But since when do the Democrats have all the answers? And since when do the Republicans have all the answers? All right? We have to have bipartisanship. We have to stop fighting with each other and steer this country the right way. And we have to protect this country because it's worth protecting. But all they care about is their names in history books and their legacies. And they don't care about jewels being in the crown. As long as they have the crown and somebody's going to write that, hey, Kevin McCarthy was Speaker of the House one day. That's really all he cares about. These people don't care. You know, it's just so disappointing to me. But we'll see what I was excited. You know, Matt Gaetz. Never thought I'd say this. Matt Gaetz, you know, rejuvenated my passion for politics in a way that has not been. Even Lauren Boebert can't stand this woman and her politics. But the fact that she was just like brave and I was like, yeah, this is the change we need. You don't have to agree with it. I don't have to agree with it. I'm not a Republican, but obviously change needs to happen, right? Change needs to happen. And the Democrats don't have all the answers. So I just felt
Yeah, I agree with you. And the Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, has said that he is going to work with the Republicans, you know, when it makes sense for them to work together for the benefit of the American people. But he's not gonna bend over or be pushed aside if they're talking about all the different things they talk about, insurrection, you know, all the craziness that the Republican side is mired in right now. And so I do agree with you. The Democrats don't have all the answers. And I think the Democrats understand that they don't have all the answers and they want to work with Republicans the way President Biden is to make things happen for ordinary people. But the Republicans think they have all the answers. That's the problem. They think it's their way or the highway. And you can see that. You can see all of the stuff running down people's mouths and their eyes. You can see how angry they were. They can't wait to shout and scream and grab somebody by the neck and choke them. You know, I mean, and that's what the Republican Party sadly has become. Just look what they did on January 6th of 2 years ago. That's the Republican Party, and we have to understand that that's what it is. It's not going to change anytime soon. They got a leader who came in and who was a fraud, the biggest fraud that this world have ever seen, the biggest con man, and he was able to rub that itch that people felt and just rub it until it felt good. And those people believed in that man. And Trump doesn't care one bit about no poor person. Donald Trump doesn't even want to shake hands with people who he knew, who he knows, much less ordinary people on the street trying to make their mortgage and their rents every month. He doesn't care about those people, but what he does care about is manipulating them. And that's what he's been able to do, because we have this country has not been able to come to grips with its past. And until this country is able to come to grips with its past and say, okay, how can we have a truth and reconciliation in our politics, in the way we govern ourselves so that we can move forward, we're going to have what we're seeing going on right now. Congressman Claiborne says the most profound thing I heard all week. He said, America is good. America is great because America is good. Right? Yeah. America is great because America is good. When America stops being good, it's going to stop being great. And these crazy people that want to see this country just be ruled by a group of authoritarians,
Mhm.
That's not good. And America, if the Roman Empire can fall, if Genghis Khan can fall, guess what? America can fall. And I'm not saying it's going to happen in my lifetime. I hope it doesn't. Or in my nephews and nieces' lifetime. I hope it doesn't. But this country has got to get its grip back on what is good and what is right for the little guys in this country. We pay the bills. We're the ones who they're fleecing every day for everything we've got. It pour into this economy, and yet and still they're not treating us right. And like you said, you know, I mean, we got to learn to work together. And right now, listen, if you want to be a Republican, your number one thing is you can't work with Democrats, okay? You work with Democrats and you're out the door. So how are we going to fix any problems if it's only one person got all the answers? You know?
Well, let's. I want to. We have another guest from all across the Atlantic Ocean. Although I do believe she's still in the United States. It's our councilor of Freetown City Council in Sierra Leone, Miss Abioseh Agnes Wilson. She has not. She's as soon as she's on camera, I will add her to the screen because she's also in the city council in Freetown, Sierra Leone. But she knows what we're talking about. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, Councilor Agnes Wilson. I really, really appreciate you joining us. I'm pretty sure you've been paying attention with all kinds of things that are going on. You know what? I'd like to play a video introducing, well, you yourself introducing yourself and just kind of talking about the things that you do. So if you don't mind, please indulge me for 1 second, please.
And Mina, two-term elected councillor from 2012 to current, right, at the Freetown City Council, one of the largest council in the region. Inside my two-term as councillor, in 2012 to 2017, I don't really work in the committee them of labor establishment, municipality and social service. And then I'll come into 2018 to current. I don't serve as the Budget and Finance Committee Chair, the longest serving Budget and Finance Committee Chair for 3 years and 3 months. And also, I don't serve as member of Procurement Committee and Sanitation Education Committee. Right, and before I become a councillor, I be an activist where they provide, service to assistance to battered wife and that of domestic violence victims. Right, I don't put my hand together for make her work before I become councillor in so many other activities then where I didn't fit say as an activist.
I'm very excited to have you join us, Councillor. I'm very happy to have you here. You know what? You made me go look into Sierra Leone and kind of get connected and some of the things. I mean, what a beautiful place. I know there's some issues. But I want to say that Freetown and all of Sierra Leone is very beautiful. It's coastal, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely a beautiful place. There's a lot of history there, a lot of Black history, African history, slavery history. And it's such a worthy place for everybody to get to know, not just for tourism, but just to get to know the history of that region. And also to try to build some coalition and do some work together. I think Black folks, let's bring our hands together and get to know one another in a different space. And, Ron Carter is, I'm from Suriname in South America. Ron Carter is from Guyana in Suriname. So, we're all Black people, but we're all from, different, we all obviously, come from Africa, but we've been brought to other places. So it's just I find this so special that the three of us have convened here today for this dialogue. And Councilor Wilson is she's a council member in Freetown, and she's got a lot of work that she's working on. I believe she may also be running for mayor, of Freetown. Maybe not. Maybe I just shot the gun. No. But I know that there's a lot of work that you need to do. So tell us a little bit about yourself. And she also goes by affectionately Mama Nee. So Mama Nee, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you do and how we can help.
Yeah, Yele, thank you so much, for giving me the opportunity to be in this platform. I'm very, very much grateful. Right, of course, I am Councilor Abioseh Agnes Wilson, a councillor of Freetown City Council, which is, as I said, one of the largest council in our sub-region, the Western sub-region. I have been elected twice in office, like I'm a two-term elected council of 10 years, really. And I have served in various capacity as a councillor, right? But before that, I have a degree in Bachelor's of Science in Banking and Finance, right? I have been working very, very hard. As I said, I am, for my, the video that you just played, I am an activist also. Yeah. Before I become a councillor, I am an activist, and still I am an activist. I work to assist, provide assistance to battered wife and that of domestic violence victim in my community and Freetown as a whole. Really.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and as a councillor, have been working in my first term. I've been in, because councils work on committees, of course, we are policymakers, right? We only act as give oversight to the administration of council. So on that note, each councillor, based on the provided in the Local Government Act of 2004, when you become a councillor, you must be at least in 3 committees. So in the first term in office, 2012 to 17, I was just a member because I was new in office. I was just a member. I was a member of Labor and Establishment Committee, Social Service Committee, and that of Municipal Trade. And when I elected again for the second term, based on, my study as a professional in banking and finance, I have the opportunity to be selected as the member of a chairman of budget and finance, right? I was the before 3 years, 3 months, budget and finance committee chairperson. And
we may need you in Congress. We may need you to advise some Congress members, because right now they only have George Santos to look for, and he's been lying. He's probably claiming all those things you've done for himself.
Yeah, really. So, yeah. So, as councillor too, I have served in the procurement committee as a member. Right. Of course, we all know what is procurement, in our institution, right? So I also serve as member of social service, sanitation member, and that of education.
Yeah.
Right. Hard to say one of the biggest goal in council. I've also served as the acting mayor of Freetown. Yeah, when my mayor and the deputy mayor are away for 2 consecutive times in 2019, I have that honor, that highest seat, to serve as the acting mayor of Freetown municipality. Yeah,
that's fantastic. So how can we, Ron, jump in here? How can we help? How we build coalition?
Yeah, as acting mayor, were you selected by your colleagues, or is this a position that you hold?
Well, I was not really selected because the mayor has the rights. You know, when she is living with his deputy, she has the right to select the most fitted councillor to, you know, to take over the council. So I was selected by I worship the mayor of Freetown, you know, to take that mantle of leadership.
I see.
So, what are some of the issues that you are facing there that, let's say, someone like myself or Jeanette can assist you with? Or, you know, I mean, is there a bridge or something that we're doing here in the United States that, that we might be able to assist you with in Sierra Leone? I have a friend, by the way, who's from Sierra Leone. She was born there, but she grew up here in America, but she claims Sierra Leone as her home.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Although I have many other, you know, activities that, of course, my role as a councillor is to act as a liaison between the council and that of my community. But my key role as a councillor is to facilitate development for my community, which is a must, right? That is our role. It is enshrined in the Local Government Act of 2004. And in this, the power of a councillor, right, is, as I just said, is to create an oversight. And creating an oversight, which means you have to lobby, as I am doing now to you. You have to lobby out there to international NGOs, local NGOs, philanthropists, that of stakeholders in and outside Sierra Leone to see how best they could come on board to really support. I have been lobbying out there. People are, you know, really bringing a little bit of support to me, but I need more because I have several challenges as a woman. You know, as a woman in my community, you know, when you place a woman, you know, to work, we do everything. We want to show, you know, all and all. We want to deliver in our community because I just don't want to remain being a councillor. I want to move. It's like a ladder. You are moving from this point to the next point. Since I have served this, I growing up what I need, which are the dying challenges in my world. I have so many bridges that we needed to, you know, we need rehabilitation of those bridges because some of the bridges are, you know, whole time in ancient time, you know, they have been constructed and we need to strengthen, you know, vehicle applying all over those bridges. I remember one of the bridges in Savage Street get collapsed and there was a loss of life. Yeah. So we have several in my wards. I have bridge cut across in my ward. So, you know, I need, you know, support to see how best we could come, you know, you should come on board to really help me as a woman to rehabilitate some of this bridge. And again, education is a key, right? In the area of education, as you see in my profile, as I have said, through the support of, you know, we have an NGO, Make It Happen in England. They supported my ward to reconstruct, you know, several classrooms in two of my municipal schools, right? Well, that is not enough. We need better toilet facilities. We need better school materials. We need furnitures for the classroom because the bargain that we did was they wanted to construct one classroom, you know, in one school, like 14 additional classroom where they will fix up furnitures in that school. But we negotiated with them that we have another school that has a dying need that they use zinc structure to construct, you know, it's like a makeshift structure. So we negotiated with them that if you can use the money that you want to do furniture in this school, that you want to construct additional classroom, you do another reconstruction in this other school, then we'll see how best we'll lobby out to get furnitures for the 2 schools. So now, if you can see, I don't want to say it because it's very shameful and all of that. Our children, some of them are seated in can, it's not conducive for them, right? If not for council that, I lobbied to my council, they did some few benches, which is not enough. We need benches, we need proper, wash facility, water in the schools is a problem. We need this 10,000 liter tank if we can have boreholes in those schools, because the Guma Valley water is not sustainable sometimes. No. But if we could have like boreholes with submersive pumps connected to the tank, that would be very, very good for the schools around. And also we need, school furnitures. And as I said, I am an activist before I become a councillor. And now I am still an activist, even though I am a councillor. Right.
So Mama Nee, let me ask you quickly, is there an organization that, let's say there's some folks who would like to donate, let's say, clothing, school supplies, maybe a group that wants to help with, development, sanitation stuff. Is there a group that people can donate to? Is there an organization that folks can get in contact with, that we can spread the word about, that you can share with us here?
Well, yes, we have several other organizations like NGOs in our community. We have Concern, we have, Goal. We have other, organization. But more or less, we have our Ward Development Committee, because when you're a councillor, you constitute, a Ward Development Committee in your ward. These Ward Development Committee members are there to facilitate development. And we also establish an account for the Ward Development Committee, where you as a councillor, you cannot just tap into that account easily, for transparency and accountability sake. Yeah. All of us as councillor, we do have our Ward Development Committee account, right? That whatever supports, someone wants to support us, if we cannot reach to NGO, because the NGOs in Freetown, most of them have their line of operations. Yeah. They have their different line of operations. That is why the council deemed fit that we should create a Ward Development Committee in our various wards, which should look into development, what kind of development we need, right? What kind of support maybe they want to give to us, right? Yeah. If it is possible, right, you can send whatever in the Ward Development Committee account, if that is possible. I didn't say it's a must, but if that is possible, it can work that way.
Yeah. And how lucky are you? You have Ron Carter here, who is, he lives in LA. That's where the money resides. Yeah. I'm joking, but Ron, one of the things that I love about this is our reconnection to our roots. So it is very important that we help and support on the ground, but I also believe that it is very important for African American in particular to get to know their roots, their historical roots, because as you know, a lot of African Americans have, those roots have been severed deliberately. And so many of them are still in search of that. And so I know that Ghana is giving a lot of folks who want, I think it's African Americans who want citizenship. They have free citizenship. I'm not sure if that's something that's done in Sierra Leone. But Ron, what are your thoughts on how we can get involved, especially on the west side of our country?
Right now I am working with the grandson of Alex Haley and the son of the gentleman who was Alex Haley's researcher for the whole Roots television series and the book. The gentleman's name was Ibu Manga. His son's name is Malik. And Alex Haley's grandson's name is Bill Jr. And these two young men has decided that they were going to create the Roots legacy, to show the legacy of what took place in the Gambia. And they are working very hard. They're working with, as a matter of fact, next week they're on their way over to the Gambia to work with the government. They're literally bringing digital medical technology to the Gambia to help with keeping track of people's medical history in the Gambia, because they said that one of the things that they found during the pandemic was that, you couldn't keep up with who was sick, how long they were sick, what is their medical history, and so on and so forth, things that we take for granted here in America. So they're taking a company over there that's going to be assisting with digitizing all that information. So if someone walk into a medical center, they can pull up his information right away. They're also working with the country on some sustainable building products, as the council woman said. They are going to be using, the Gambia is going to be using the natural resources of that country to start building structures, right? So instead of building concrete, instead of pouring concrete on the foundation, they're going to use some of the raw materials from the Gambia to actually build those constructions, and they're building homes. And these homes are going to run anywhere from like $20,000, I guess, to $100,000. You can get a 4-bedroom house, I think, for $20,000. Really, really beautiful. I've seen the architectural sketches of some of these homes. And so, I'm working on that front with these gentlemen. I'm advising them as their media and PR consultant. And, I feel very good about that, because I feel that, being that I was like you, Jeanette, born in a third world country, I feel like I owe something to Africa, right? I mean, I embrace my African ancestors openly, because I do look African, and I feel like I'm African. Some of the dishes that we have in our country that I grew up eating were African dishes, because when I went to Africa, I saw some of the same thing, and I went like, oh wait, I used to eat that, even though I was living in America. So I mean, whatever I can do to help the councilwoman, I'll do my best. But just know that I'm involved in this project in the Gambia. And, as I get deeper into it, I'm quite certain there is a nexus to help Sierra Leone, because the councilwoman said something that I just heard a couple of days ago. There was a gentleman that was being interviewed, and he was saying that, what changed his mind, he's a lawyer, and he's now building bathrooms and toilets in schools and in medical centers. He said he went to visit a medical center, and there was no toilets for the patients. The only toilet they had was for the doctor. And he was like, wait, how do you have a toilet for the doctor, and for the people who are sick, there are no toilets? And so he said from that day, he decided that he would pledge to work on that behalf. So to hear the councilwoman talk about that, about, those facilities, it really says a lot about what needs to get done for the people in Africa. And, I'm going to do my best this year. I literally have decided I'm going to dedicate myself to working a little bit more in Africa. I have friends who are in Ghana that are doing things, and have invited me to come over there and see what's taking place. There's a whole big, as you said, they're offering citizenship, and there's sort of like, there's a lot of Americans that is actually going over to Ghana. But there are other parts of Africa, right? Africa's got, 52 countries, I think, or whatever the amount. It's a lot or 40
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
There is a lot of countries, not states, but countries. And so I think that there's a lot of work for us here in America to really reach out and help our African brothers and sisters. Because guess what? If we don't, the Chinese will. And the Chinese are over in Africa, and they are befriending the Africans, and the Africans are saying, hey, America, you guys not helping us. But when you come over here and try and help us, you're trying to take all the money out of our country. These people are taking the money, but they're also helping us. They're also helping us. And so, you know, you guys have got, and America has got to step up, because, yeah, you know, the American political system is saying, oh, yeah, the Chinese are over there and they're doing it. Well, guess what? You guys are not doing anything. So what are they supposed to do? Die? You know, the Chinese are building roads, they're building, you know, they're doing all kinds of stuff over in Africa. And so it's time for us here in America, especially African Americans, to actually step up and try to help the African people. So I'm open to anything that makes sense that I can lend my expertise to. And, you know, as I said, I'm already involved in this project in the Gambia, and I'm really excited about it, because it's never been done in the country before. And we've got two young men who's got roots in that country, even though we all are here living in America.
I love what you said, Ron. Thank you so much for saying that. We do have to get involved. Otherwise, the Chinese will lead the way. And I don't know if their hearts are in the same places as ours. However, I think it is important that we do build bridges, even with the Chinese. I mean, they shouldn't come and take over, but they should certainly come and be a partner, you know, and because Africa can't wait around for the rest of the world who have the ability to help. So I think it is very important that we take help where it's needed, but that they respect the culture, and that they don't come and take over, you know, because I've heard about the Chinese, some of them creating their own police forces, you know, mistreating some African people, which is just unacceptable. And you know, and it's not just Africa, it's South America and in Suriname. In Suriname, the Chinese have a huge footprint, and it's becoming larger and larger. Although you welcome the development, we must protect our culture and our identity and our place as official leaders of our respective countries, whether it's a developing country or not. So, you know, anything else you would like to add, Councilwoman? On how we, and make sure you take Ron Carter's information down. I'll also send it to you via email, and so that way we can all stay in touch and build a larger coalition to support your efforts in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and then we'll go from there.
Yes, I just want to say thank you, Janet. Thank you so much for this, you know, for this medium that's, you know, you introduces me to my dad, because I don't have a dad, you are my dad now. Thank you so much. I know you support me, really. I am very, very much grateful. I want to say thank you for everything. Please let us be side by side, you know, so that you really support me and whatever I am doing, you know, so that I'll be lifted up, go up more as a woman. Right. Thank you so much. Although I have other things, I have other, you know, challenges, because as I said, I am an activist, you know, I've been feeding, you know, doing feeding
people,
feeding vulnerable children in my community. That's another aspect.
Yeah.
You know,
Is there
my developments, doing feeding, because it's not easy now. During the Ebola, during the COVID, I've been feeding area to area, community to community. You know, I go around. I don't have money, but I have just the passion.
Yeah. You know, it's so
philanthropists, stakeholders, you know. Some will give me cash or kind, you know, put together. Then I cook, bring all the World Development Committee on board. We cook, we distribute. It was good. Very, very good. Yeah. But I want to thank you so much for this medium, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is our pleasure to engage with you. Ron and I are both of similar minds when it comes to our culture and the work he does and I do. And so I'm very grateful as well for your time and for joining us here as well. Ron, anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just want to congratulate the councilwoman on the great job she's doing. I can see, she is, as she said several times, she's an activist, it seems like first, and then a council person. So, that means that she's working on behalf of her constituents and the people who she's serving. So, keep up the good work. And if through Jeanette, there's any way that I can be of assistance, I'll do my best to assist you. And all I can say is just keep up the work. There's a lot of work to be done. The wonderful thing about all of this is that this is the decade of Africa. Africa is very important and it's going to be the decade. And if African Americans don't seize the opportunity to get involved in Africa, we're going to be left behind like we're left behind in a lot of things that come and pass us by. And everyone recognizes that Africa is really important at this time, not only to this country but to this world. And so, we have got to embrace our African brothers and sisters and work closer with them and helping them as they make their way to become the continent that they deserve to be. All of the raw materials are right there in Africa, and everyone is fighting to get it. And it's important that the African people retain their raw material and not let everyone come over there and just sneak and take it out, or just with pretense come over and take raw material out of Africa. That's what they did to places like the Caribbean. That's what they did to places in South America. The country where I was born now, all of a sudden, folks used to be saying it's one of the poorest countries in the world and yada, yada, yada. America never even paid any attention to us. Well, guess what? They just found the largest reserve of oil in Guyana. Guyana is now one of the richest oil country in the world. And guess what? Everybody is over there. Exxon, the US government is sending people over there. The Chinese are there. And so, the challenge for Guyana is probably going to be the same challenge it is for Africa, is that they're going to have to learn how to do this work themselves so they can keep their raw material. If not, it's going to be taken away from us.
Yeah. And, one of the things we unfortunately do have to contend with, even amongst ourselves, is just the corruption. I mean, we have to be able to, just as I advocate that our country in Congress works together, in a bipartisan fashion, we too, as Black people, must come together and work for the betterment of all of us. We have to change business as usual, and we have to think of our future, our children's future, our grandchildren's future. It really, really, really matters that we start to create generational wealth. That we too have a place at the table when it comes to that generational wealth. We have to have that. So that way we're not constantly, going to the rest of the world saying, "Oh, please help us out. We are so rich. We are so wealthy, not just financially, but culturally and minerally. We are very rich, but it's time that we start standing up in a way that we can manage. It's one thing to ask for power. They say it's another thing to be responsible with that power, and that's where God lives, in that responsibility with that power. It's not just. You can read a Bible all day long. You can quote scriptures all day long, but it's how you live is where your God lives. That's how I feel about this whole thing. So, thank you all so much. This has been such a great show. Councilor Wilson, Mama Nee, I appreciate you joining us today. I'm so grateful. Ron, you're my star. You're about to be my co-host for the show. So I really appreciate you as well. We just got to get your audio fixed a little bit.
And what's going on? Find out if I need to do something with StreamYard, because I don't have a problem with any of the other Zoom or Microsoft. I don't have any problems. So it's something with StreamYard in my computer. I need to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
Then, excuse me. Lastly, I'll be going to Freetown on Saturday. Come Saturday the 14th.
Okay.
No matter what, so stay connected.
Yes, and when you go there, please let me know. You can always come back and show us what's going on there if you like, and let's keep this conversation going.
Yeah.
I will certainly share what you said. I'll share my network with you as I am doing now, especially with Ron Carter. Ron Carter is also the NABJ treasurer. So this is where he has a huge coalition as well of communicators, of storytellers, of culture builders, thought leaders. And so we are, when we are in his presence, in many ways, we are in Mecca, and I really love that. So thank you all so very much. I appreciate it. We have reached the end of our broadcast. I want to thank everyone who took the time to join. And next week, I'm going to have a fabulous guest. Jamerico he's an author, but I'll tell you more about that later. And I think we'll have another guest coming on, but we'll see how all of that goes. But in the meantime, thank you so much. I'm Jeanette Lenoir with E Pluribus America, and this is Our American Culture.